So I see this ad often to justify Nintendo's price increases, and I find it extremely misleading because this is an entirely different currency than the United States dollar, making this seem more expensive than it actually is, but it is not. And today I'm going to be covering the actual prices of these games back then, and a little bit with the history with why Nintendo in the past was actually forced to decrease their prices. Okay, so first things first is that Earthbound, it was not actually $90 in the United States dollars. It was actually $70, as you can see, it was this red post right here, with someone when they bought it back then. And the main reason why Earthbound didn't sell too well back then is because of this huge price, okay, in addition to their stinky, crude humor about fart ads. But the price especially was what made people not want to buy back then at $70, okay? So yeah, and also just, if you just don't, of course you can't just believe a random thing off of a Reddit post, just as you can't believe some random posts on the internet. So when going through some other game ads back then, just compare some of the games that are on there. Well, you got Donkey Kong Country 2 right here showing $80. So it wasn't actually $80. So it was more, when you compare with this ad right here, when it's actually in the United States dollars, it's about $53, okay? And then when you also got Donkey Kong Country here, okay, comparing with another ad, you also see it being with near lease, okay, at $60. And when you look at all the other ads, like none of them are like north of like $80, okay? Only one of them is about $70, but most of them are below that significantly. So games were not that expensive back then. So that's at least with that. And also like Nintendo doing a massive price increase compared to competitors is not entirely something that's unprecedented, okay? So Nintendo back then, the typical console prices were for the SNES when Nintendo thought they were at their peak. It was typically between $60 to $75 for a starting price. Okay. However, Nintendo back then, there was the console wars that made it so that Nintendo, they actually had to compete. So just compare with some game ads, just say, for example, like the Sega Genesis, they were noted as an expensive one, okay, for their games. But even then, with them being known as an expensive console, like there's like, normally the peak was still about $70, with most of them being about $60. You got Sony PlayStation giving Nintendo an extremely difficult time with extremely competitively priced video games, where you got the Mortal Kombat was about $50, Crash Bandicoot about $40. Just like most of the games were between $40 to $50. And Nintendo, they were actually forced to compete, okay? And PlayStation sales, they were extremely high. And Nintendo, they thought they were like Disney, where they could just price a premium on anything and then they'll have the fanboys buy it. But back then, they didn't have it, and they were forced to decrease their prices. So that was why Nintendo had to drop their prices, was because they were forced to actually compete, and people voted with their wallets by buying a PlayStation that was more competitively priced while also providing fun games compared to Nintendo. So this provides a massive opportunity for other console makers, and also PC and the Steam Deck, ROG, Ally, etc. Any kind of handheld, it gives them a very significant opportunity to be able to capitalize on it, to actually give Nintendo a run for its money, because they're doing the same exact mistake that they did back in the 90s. And now, some people will try to justify, like some Nintendo shields, that, oh, you want more quality games? Well, you need to pay more money. However, a lot of game companies, they have been increasing the prices. However, they've been releasing a lot of broken day one releases. So to consumers, it does not really seem like they're actually really trying to earn their keep with the justifying the price increases. In addition to that, in my opinion, I think video games should be cheaper now. Okay, so first off, you got distribution. Back then, you had to manufacture a bunch of CDs or ROM cartridges, etc., and you had to pay for shipping. Okay, but now most people, they get their stuff with digital. Okay, so the cost of adding another customer to play your game is close to near zero and is not tariffed at all. Okay. So in addition to that, there's also the marketing route as well, where we're relating to distribution. That's a lot cheaper, because nowadays you got viral marketing, which is not only just more effective, but also significantly cheaper compared to buying a bunch of traditional ads back then. So distribution overall is cheaper, okay? If you do it right, that is. There's also AI that's also making things a lot cheaper, where a lot of the advances have been with the coding and also the asset generation pipeline side of things, which are the most expensive parts of game development. Okay, so I know so because when I tried to make a game when I was in high school, I realized, oh man, there's so much time spent with asset generation. So because AI have brought in advances with this kind of stuff, it should be making these things a lot cheaper by making artists and programmers more productive than ever. So that way, one programmer can work like 10, and same thing with one artist, they can work like 10. So this should be increasing their productivity and increasing their time to market, not decreasing it. So overall, Nintendo, they don't really have an excuse for this price increase. And Just as Nintendo in the past, when they were forced to decrease their prices, if you do vote with your wallet, they will lower the prices down to something that's more reasonable. Anyways, don't forget to drop a like down below and also let me know your thoughts about the situation, because it seems with the pricing that it may get even more expensive with tariffs for Nintendo, which provides a major opportunity for PC handhelds to make a comeback. But yeah, let me know what you think down below, and also subscribe to hear about updates with the game that I'm making. It's a very interesting concept that a lot of people, when I talk to them about it, they're extremely interested in the game and to see with what comes out. So if you really like action games, I think it'll be your cup of tea. So outside of that, hope you take care and have a good day. And don't forget to like the video and comment down your thoughts down below.